guys, and welcome back to Anthony's Bow Hunting and Adventures. Now on today's video we're going to show you guys a little bit of a deep dive of how I go about packing for a weekend trip away. So like I said, the car in question will be the car right beside you guys here that you'll probably see at the corner of the tail light just there. And like I said, the vehicle that we've got in question that we're going to be using to show you guys how I go about packing a wagon. Yes, that's correct, you heard correctly. We are packing a full drive wagon to go on away on a weekend trip, which will be coming up very soon. And I will be taking the camera with me, guys, and hopefully some of the gentlemen that I will be going out camping with and bow hunting with won't mind me shoving my phone in their face or a bit of GoPro action in front of their face when we go away to hopefully yield us some nice fresh venison, whether it be fallow or sandbar deer. So without further ado, guys, as you guys will be able to just see just beside me, I've got the two dogs. I've got one in between my legs, which is good old Rem, and then we've got good old Bundy right behind us there. So we've got the two dogs, which might get in the middle of the photo. Also on right photo, sorry, in between the video. But yeah, so we'll have dogs floating around. You may hear the dogs bark and all that kind of stuff, so I do apologise in advance. But like I said, we've got nearly everything we need sitting just here on the edge of the veranda just here. And I'm going to show you guys and just take you guys through the step-by-step aspects of how I go about packing the vehicle. So what I would normally do is I always start up high. So for me, starting up high will be packing the roof rack first. So we will pack as much as we can to get on top of the roof rack, and then we will move along to packing the rest of the inside of the vehicle. Okay, so now also I am also waiting on a few items to come in the mail. So not everything is here. I've got a couple things here just as a general kind of show you guys how I'd pack this item into the vehicle, even though I haven't got the actual item that I will be taking on the trip. So obviously when I actually do the actual pre-hunt trip check and video, I will actually show you guys in depth of every single item I've got. But we will just walk you guys through just the bare aspects of what we've got in front of us here. So obviously over to the far side, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, we have got the Mighty Bow hard case with the Mighty Elite in there. It's not in there, this is only for demonstrational purposes to show you guys how I pack the vehicle. So we've got the Bow hard case, we've got the Aussie Targets cube target. So I always seem to take a target away when I go on a hunting trip with a bow, just in case, God forbid, on the trip up I hit a certain bump in the road and it might knock me side out. So I can always, once I get up and I set up a camp and I'm starting to relax and cracking a nice cold beverage, I can crack the bow out of the case, shoot a couple arrows at 20, shoot a couple arrows at 30, shoot a couple arrows at 40, to make sure everything is dead on in those little black dots. Then moving on, like I said, this is not everything. This is just showing you guys the bare basics of how I pack a wagon to hopefully help you guys when you're going to pack your wagon to try and utilize as much of your space as you possibly can. So then next to that, we've got a really large tub, which has got like all my cooking stuff in it. So cooking utensils, you know, frying pan, all that kind of stuff. The only thing I haven't got in this little array of stuff is my cooker, which that'll be in depth when I go to do my packing for the trip. So obviously there will be a cooker in the next one we do. And then obviously the big plastic container. So that's got all of our cooking stuff in there. We've also got a quick setup kind of thing, little 3-person tent, which is literally just from good old Big W. So I'm going to give this thing a trial, but I have also got a tarp just underneath my football eBay light. So this will go on the ground. I'll have a ground sheet underneath this, then the tent, then I'll chuck a tarp on it just in case if we have any wet weather. In this little ammo box just here, we won't go into depth with it, guys, but we've got to always carry a stubby holder, good old crafted archery. We've got the good old fallow croaker. We've got a spare release aid. So that's just a True Glow Stinger XT release aid. Normally my OG release will be in there, but it's not in there at the moment. Then we've got a little box full of all the broadheads that you need under the sun, a couple lighted knocks, just in case we blow up a knock or something when it goes through an animal, so we can replace that knock. And that's what's in there. So just bow essentials kind of thing. And then moving on, obviously we've got the big football light, which I spoke about, which is literally just a, no joke, it's actually just a fishing rod, big massive cheap fiberglass fishing rod. And instead of having an eyelet right at the top, it's actually got a thread. So, and on that thread, this little bad boy screws into it, and that's a little LED light, and it is silly bright. And that just connects to my 12-volt socket in the car, so I can actually see it at night time. Also, I normally carry a pair of jumper, like a King's jumper pack, just in case I need it. That's normally behind the seat. Then obviously we've got my chair. We've got to have somewhere to sit. Got the mighty chainsaw, so we can cut some firewood, keep our bums warm, because we are in the edge of winter and the start of spring. So I've got the chainsaw just in case. Obviously they'll be fully fueled up and everything before the trip. And then obviously we need water, so we can boil the kettle, have coffee in the morning, good old dog and gun coffee. So got a 20-litre jerry can to put water in. Like I said, this is all just demonstrational purposes, guys. So now, without further ado, I'm going to move you guys over to the roof, and then we're going to get stuck into showing you guys how I go about packing on the stuff on the roof. Alrighty guys, now as you guys can see, the roof rack is just there. So now we're going to get stuck into showing you guys how I chuck stuff up there to pack things in, and then I'll lift the camera up a little bit more because my tripod is literally on its tallest setting. This is the best I can get you. So what I might actually do is I might actually just move you guys around to the side there and show you guys from that angle. I think it will be a little bit more nicer. So let me know how you guys think. So there's a roof rack. Let's start packing it. That did not work. Alrighty guys, so that's basically what we're going to be sticking up on the roof. So hopefully you guys can see that. So basically we'll just go for a run through, obviously, because I was walking from this side to that side. So we're going to 20 litres of water up here, 20 litres of water. Got the chainsaw just beside it. Got our Aussie target just there. We've also got the tent, so the little 3-person tent up over there. And then right over there in the far corner there behind the water tank, we've got my chair. So like, as you guys can see, there's still a heap of room just up over here. But like I said, I've got a couple other things that I'm waiting in the mail that will probably go up in that spot just there. But that's what will sit on the roof. And, you know, like I said, obviously it'll get all strapped down. But like as I stated in the start of this video, this is a pre-trip pack to show you guys how I go about packing things. And like I said, when it comes to the actual pre-packing video, we'll go through everything we need to pack on the roof and everything else like that. Like I said, so if I don't strap anything on the roof, don't stress. I'm not driving anywhere with that stuff up there. It is just to show you guys how I pack it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move to the bum of the vehicle, and we're going to show you guys how we pack the rear of the vehicle next. Alrighty guys, so now we are at the rear of the vehicle. So as you guys can see, we've got a couple of drawers on this side, and then we've got a empty fridge slide over here. Like I said, I do have a fridge, but I'm waiting on a few things to come in the mail, like as I said. So I'm actually waiting on a battery to run the good old fridgy poos. So just for demonstrational purposes, we are just going to show you guys how I'd pack it if I wasn't to have a fridge. So first things first, we need our little camp box. Our little camp box literally packs straight on the back of this thing quite nicely. I'll just slide him in there. Like I said, this is just for demonstrational purposes. So we'll have our plastic tub of all that cooking stuff just there. Now we're going to go to the drawers. Now these are, like I've said before, these are a good old Facebook Marketplace find. So inside this big drawer, got a set of rattling antlers for the fallow deer. Obviously we're not in the fallow deer rut at the moment, that won't be until next year, but they kind of live in the car. We've got a fallow deer croaker as well. I'm not going to squeak that because it's going to make the dogs go absolutely berserko. So first things first, what we're going to put in the big drawer is our archery utensils kind of thing. So all the essentials, they can go in there. Then we're going to grab our tarp. Our tarp will go in that top drawer, just here, up to the side there. Our football light will go in the top up there too. They'll go off into the corner kind of thing, just because obviously it's so big. And then, like I said, we'll shut this drawer like so. Shut this bottom drawer. Like I said, this is just a demonstrational video, guys, just show you guys how I pack it. Obviously that big bottom drawer, it's got plenty of room to pack more stuff in. I'm just showing you guys how I'm packing the vehicle. Now, without further ado, the last thing, you guys probably won't be able to tell, but I've actually got my hunting pack, which actually lives right behind these drawers. My hunting pack's already in there with my rangefinder, my binos, my knives, all that kind of good jazz. So without further ado, we've got the last thing of the puzzle. So we're actually going to stick the bow case, will actually live on top like that, and as you guys can see, I've got enough room just there to put like my sleeping bag, my pillow on top of that tub. The cooker will go down the side there. I'll probably put some gas bottles in that that bottom drawer just there. My second battery, when it comes in the mail, hopefully it'll come, because we've got about 3 weeks before the actual trip. So hopefully my battery will show up in the mail in the next couple of days, so I can put that in, and then I'll show you guys around how I've put that in. There is an answer plug down the bottom there, which was put in prior from the previous owner. So we can hook solar up straight to that point right there, hook solar up to there, to the main battery, charge the main battery up, and then obviously it'll charge the main battery up, but it's also going to keep the fridge going. So without further ado, like I said, that's what we're going to do there. So I've just got to put the solar controller on that side as well. Everything else is on the roof. Yeah, like I said, I've got plenty of room to stack miscellaneous things that I haven't brought out, because like I said, I'm not going to bring my sleeping bag out. I'm not going to bring my pillow out because I'm not currently leaving. I'm just showing you guys how I go about packing the vehicle. So obviously I'll put like a bag of clothes on the back seat on the floor. You know, any spare thermal gear, anything like that will all go on the back seat or on the back floor. And then we've still got plenty of room inside the cabin as well. So yeah guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. So let's move on to the final part of the video. Now, the last thing before any trip guys, what I like to make sure, obviously you want to make sure you check the health of the vehicle. As much as you know your vehicle might be reliable, we've got to go over all the main essentials. So we've got to check coolant overflow, check your oil, check your water, check your simple things, even like your water squirters, you know, because if it gets really muddy when you're up there and it's rained, you need to squirt your windows. So just simple things, just go over all mechanical parts of the engine up to your knowledge. If you're not very mechanically minded, I would definitely suggest, you don't per se have to book it in with someone, but find someone that you might know that knows a little bit about engines. Just get them to go over all the fluids and check the fluids in the engine, check your unis, check all your drive line, check all the stuff, because you don't want to be going and packing to go away, guys, and then before you know it, you've packed, you're heading away, and then something goes wrong with the vehicle because you haven't done any preventative maintenance. So that's one thing that I will definitely tell you guys there. Obviously, don't ever, you know, ignore it, you know, before you go on any big trip. You know, like for me, for my trip with the boys, it's about, you know, nearly a 4-hour trip for me to go from here up to where we're going, you know. So I've got to check all those vital signs on the vehicle before I go away. So just make sure you check your motor and all your drive line, everything about your vehicle is in tip-top shape before you go away. You know, even if you know it's got a couple of little gremlins and all that kind of stuff, where there might be electrical or something like that, just try and fix them if you can, because it's going to make it for a much more enjoyable time when you're up bush, you're chasing those critters, and you know that you're going to get up there safely and you're going to get home safely. That's the whole idea, guys. And then one more major thing which I'm going to be pushing very hard on this channel. Now, if you guys go away, you know, we live in a beautiful area up here in Australia, in Victoria, where I currently reside. Now, one thing I see a lot of is people, they're going camping, they have a great time, and then, oh, it's home time. Let's leave our rubbish scattered around campsites. Now, this is one thing I'm going to push forward very hard and make sure you guys understand this. If you go away, always make sure you leave the campsite cleaner than what it was before you got there. So if you get there and you see some, you know, bottles and all that sort of stuff laying around, pick them up. Got some cardboard laying around, pile it up into the fire pit and burn all the cardboard and all the plastic. Because it's better off taking someone else's rubbish out with you when you leave than leaving it there, and then parks and the DPI come in there and they go, well, you know, people are coming in here and they're disrespecting, you know, the land that we have, you know, the land of the free, as we call it, and that, and people just leave their rubbish there. You know, it's not hard, guys. Before you go home, if there's any rubbish that you can see around that campsite, pick it up, put it in a garbage bag, put it in the back of your car. Yes, I understand in a wagon, if there's leaky bottles or, you know, there's plastic containers from, you know, chicken or something like that from the shops. Yes, it's going to stink your car out, but you can get that stink out of your car. And the best thing is when you leave your campsite, you are keeping the bush rejuvenated. You're stopping native animals from getting caught up in pieces of plastic from your beer 6-packs and all that kind of stuff. You know, you're stopping them from getting caught, you're stopping them from getting hurt and all that kind of stuff. We need to keep our country and our state as clean as possibly as we can, you know. So I normally carry a dirty gear bag. Obviously I can't do that on this vehicle, obviously, because it is a wagon and I have not got a rear bar for it just yet. But once I get a rear bar for this vehicle, I will be carrying a dirty gear bag. And then whenever I go away, all my rubbish will go in there. What I can burn, I will burn over the fire while I'm there. You know, so cardboard, plastic, anything like that. If you can burn it, perfect. Burn it so that it goes to nothing, you know. And then if you, like I said, you see a couple glass bottles or a couple cans laying around when you get to that campsite, pick it up, put it in your dirty gear bag if you've got a ute or a wagon with a spare tire on the back, and put your rubbish in the back. Once you put your rubbish in the back, cool. If you've got a wagon like me, which is a pretty relatively basic setup, put it in a garbage bag, put it on the floor on the passenger, the rear floor. Surely everyone would carry like rubber mats and stuff for full driving so you don't track mud all through your carpet. Stick it on your rubber floor mat on the back seat, on the black floor, or even if you have to, lay the tarp out that you had underneath your tent. Wrap it up in the tarp, put it on your back seat, wait until you get to town, put it all in the bin. It's very simple, guys. It's one thing that I push very hard when I go away with people is, if you go into that campsite and you see rubbish, before you even start setting up and kicking back and relaxing, cracking a whole cold beverage, just make sure you walk around, you check that campsite. If you see any bottles or any cans, plastic, whatever. If you see plastic and cardboard, put it in your fire pit. So then when you guys start the fire in the afternoon, you can burn it all at that time, and it helps to start the fire anyway. But if you see any bottles or cans, please just take them out with you, okay? I'm not gonna ramble too much. I don't wanna drag this video too long talking about trying to keep our campsites beautiful. But like I said, guys, what I am gonna say is I hope you guys have liked this video. Please smash that bell. We're trying to get to at least over 20 subscribers on Anthony's Bow Hunting Adventures. So if we can get to over 20 subscribers, that's gonna be a milestone for me. And I really thank you guys for all your support. So like I said, without further ado, like and subscribe, smash that bell. Let's get some awareness out for our beautiful bush. And like I said, guys, I will see you on the next video of Anthony's Bow Hunting and Adventures. Thanks, guys.